to have a beautiful day, and a beautiful day begins with a beautiful mindset. So, the word that I want to share with you all today is probably a phrase you've heard before. Your vibe attracts your tribe. I want you to consider what that means to you. What is your vibe? Your vibe is your frequency. Your vibe is your energy. Your vibe is that thing that you emit out into the world without having to say a word, without having to even do anything. It's just the essence of who you are. So think about it. If you're in a bad mood or you're around someone who's in a bad mood, whether you don't know them, whether you've ever met them, engaged with them at all, you can just be in the same space as someone who's in a bad mood and you can sense their vibe. You can sense like something's, what's going on with that person. Whether we realize it or not, we're always giving off some type of frequency. At our essence, y'all, we are energetic beings. We are energetic beings having a human experience. We are divine beings having a human experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. Another word for spirit is energy. Another word for spirit is frequency. Another word for spirit is vibration. And so, however you sub this word, your vibe attracts your tribe. Your spirit attracts a certain type of person, place, thing, circumstance, etc. And so a lot of the times we fail to realize when we're like, well, why do I keep attracting the same kind of person? It's a different person, a different year, but I'm experiencing the same type of experience. I want to remind you that the only constant in your life is you. The only constant in your life is you. You can change the people around you. You can change the location. You can change the environment. But if you remain the same, if you remain the same version of yourself, that same vibration, that same energetic frequency, if that doesn't change, then no matter where you go, no matter who's around, no matter what you allow yourself to be a part of, you're going to have similar experiences. Your vibe attracts your tribe. We don't attract what we want. You might want a lot of things. We don't attract what we want. We attract what we are. And we accept what we feel that we are worthy of. I want you to consider that. We do not attract what we want. We attract what we are. And we accept what we believe that we are worthy of, what we believe that we deserve. You might want more money. Let's just use that because we all, who doesn't want more money, right? You might want more money. But if you're carrying a mindset of scarcity, of lack, of I can't afford that, or that's too expensive, or I don't have enough, you're only going to attract experiences that confirm the belief and the narrative that you have in your mind. If you don't believe you're worthy of having more, you're only going to receive what you feel worthy of. And if you feel worthy of, I don't have enough, my darling, that's what you're going to continue to experience. Your mentality becomes your reality. And it's taken some time for me to understand this, but once you learn it and you apply it, because people say knowledge is power, but it's application of knowledge that is power. Once you know better, you do better. So once you have the knowledge, that's the knowing better. The doing better requires you to apply the knowledge that you've gained. And once you apply that, that's when you start to experience better. Once you start to change, the things around you will change. A lot of the times we're waiting for the things around us to change while we expect to remain the same. And I want to let you know that the things won't change until you do. Those things won't change until you do. You cannot change the people around you, but you can change the people around you. Think about it. I can't change John, James, Jim. I can't change them. But I can get away from John, James, and Jim, and I can go get around, Peter, Paul, and Paulette. Because Peter, Paul, and Paulette may be healthier and more aligned and more intentional and their vibration may align with the frequency that I am currently emitting or that I desire to have. But if I keep hanging around the former, what would I say, John, James, and Jim, if I keep hanging around them, misery loves company. If they don't have, they say, it's Jim Ron, he says, we are a sum total of who we share the most time with. If you look around and you're hanging around 3 broke people, baby, you're going to be the 4th. If you hanging around 2 miserable people, you're going to be the 3rd. If you hanging around 2 unhealthy people, you're going to be the next one. If you hanging around 4 millionaires, baby, you on your way to being the 5th. If you hanging around people who are thinking about ideas and talking about ideas rather than people, you're going to be on that. We become products of our environment. Your vibe attracts your tribe. That means whatever vibration you're at for yourself, whatever frequency you establish for yourself and maintain, you become a magnet for things that are aligned with that. Now, I will also say, when you're a light shining in the dark place, yes, you are going to attract. Light attracts light, but light also attracts bugs. Light also attracts bugs, baby. So get your fly swatter and stay ready. As my apostle says, you stay ready. You ain't got to get ready. Just remember, in addition to your vibe attracts your tribe, you may not always be responsible for what you attract, but you're always responsible for what you entertain. The attraction is what happens without you trying. It's what happens naturally based on your energetic frequency. So I'm naturally a joyful, loving, peaceful person, and that draws people in. But sometimes it draws the people who don't have the capacity to reciprocate what I offer, because I'm not just peaceful, loving, and kind because I have to be. It's because I choose to be, and because I've done a lot of self-work and self-reflection that allows me to be that. So I won't say I cannot, I will not allow myself to be surrounded by people who have not done work on themselves, who are not self-aware, who have not self-reflected, who have not learned who they are, who are not kind-hearted, because there's a difference between being kind and being nice. Being nice is an act. Being kind is a heart posture. So for me, because I have done the work to learn myself, and I'm constantly learning myself, and I'm constantly evolving and growing, self-evaluation leads to self-evolution. If you want to grow, you have to study. In whatever it is, if you want to grow, you have to learn. You have to be willing to learn. You have to get uncomfortable. Comfort zones are nice, baby, but nothing grows there. If you want to grow, you have to let go of whatever you're holding on to so that you can spread those wings and so that you can take up space. Now, going back to what I was saying, your vibe attracts your tribe. You may not be responsible for what you attract, which you are to some sense. You get to decide what type of vibration and frequency you want to be in, what you want to hold energetically. And that is your responsibility. What and who is attracted to that is not necessarily your responsibility. But who you choose to entertain, who, what, when, where, how, all of those things, that's what you can control. What you entertain is always your responsibility. What you attract may not always be. Your vibration is your responsibility, and what you entertain is your responsibility. And you have to be mindful of where you're putting your time, your effort, your attention, y'all, because that's your currency. Your energy is your currency. What are you paying attention to? What are you subscribing to? What are you following? Especially when we live in this social media era where everything is like, oh, I have this many followers. Where are you following them to? Are they leading you well? What are you subscribing to? Is it something that you really want to purchase? What are you paying attention to? Are you being mindful of where your currency is going, where your life force? Your energy, your awareness, your time, your effort, that is the most valuable thing that you have. It's not the money in the bank. The money in the bank is usually a reflection of the former. And it's interesting to believe that a lot of people don't realize that their vibration is their choice. They're just, oh, well, I just can never. Well, if you say you never can, why do you expect different results? Or I just always. Well, if you say you always do, why do you expect different? Or I'm just, I am. God says, I am that I am. I am is the name of God. So whatever you say after that, first of all, are you taking God's name in vain? I am. That's a powerful statement, because whatever you say after I am, please get ready to know that that's about to be, it has to manifest. Because God spoke things into existence. God said, and it was. God didn't think, God didn't feel, God didn't envision, God said. He might have done those things, or they. I say that God is they. Because even God says, let us make man in our image. Who is our? Who is they? So for me, God is a them, God is a they. Anyway, God said, and it was. God spoke things into existence. And we don't realize the power of the tongue. They say the power of death and life. The Bible says the power of death and life lies in the tongue. It doesn't say life and death. It says death first. Why? Why is it said death first? Because we have the ability, it's easier to kill something than it is to give something life. It's easier to hurt someone than to heal someone. It's easier to kill something than to bring something to life. You ever tried to garden? You ever tried to cultivate, bringing a seed into the fullness of who and what it is? Danette said, I'm hollering in Backyard Burger drive-thru. Yes, Liv. I'm just saying, y'all, we have to be mindful of what we allow from ourselves. Stop trying to manage and control other people, because you're never going to be able to do that. Life is not about controlling what happens. It's about controlling how you respond to what happens. And you know what? What happens outside of you, you have 0% control. Even how much you might want to control. Maybe if I do this, then this. You can try to manipulate all you want. And guess what? It still is going to happen the way it's going to happen. But what you can 100% control is how you choose to respond to what happens. I've already made up in my mind, no matter what happens, nothing is worth my peace. I've already made up in my mind, there is nothing that I cannot overcome. There is nothing that has the power to overcome me. And because that's my vibration, because that's my chosen mentality, and that's not just something I say, that's something I show myself every day when challenges arise. Because first of all, I will say, who you say you are and who you show yourself to be are two different things. Who you say you are is one thing, but our character is not really revealed until we're in challenging moments. I'm just going to say that. Who you are is not revealed when everything's going your way and you have everything you want and there's no problems or issues. That's not who you are. That is not who you are. A lot of times we're like, man, if I just had this, then I would be better. No. You're dependent on an external circumstance to bring you into the fullness of who you are, rather than realizing no matter what my external circumstance is, I am okay. I am still me. I have everything that I need in this very moment. Beating heart, breath flowing, blood pumping, sound mind. When I have those things, I'm limitless. There is nothing that I cannot overcome. There is nothing that can overcome me. That's it. It's as simple as that. And because that's my vibration, things that are aligned with that are going to be able to not only be attracted to me, but to maintain a level of connection. There are going to be a lot of people that are attracted to me because of what I say and what I do and who I am, but not everything is going to stand the test of time. And time reveals all. I trust people to be exactly who they are. I no longer have expectations of people. I have requirements. Let me say that again. That was the rewind. I no longer have expectations of people. I have requirements. Who you are, that's your responsibility. I trust you to be exactly who you are. I don't expect you to be who I want you to be. That would not be fair. I want to watch you and see you reveal who you are to the world, to yourself, in your own life. How do you show up for yourself? Because you can't give what you don't have. If you just study and watch people in their own lives, you would realize it's not personal. How they treat you is not personal. That's how they treat themselves. What they do in their own lives is a reflection of how they're going to show up in your life. If they're not honest with themselves, what makes you think they're going to be honest with you? What makes you the exception to those people's rules? What makes you the exception? I had to learn these things because I used to think because I'm a good person, because I have a good heart, because I'm kind, because I'm loving, why would you want to treat me like this? They don't know no better. They don't know no better. Baby, they don't know no better. When you know better, you do better. So you do the best you can until you know better. And then when you know better, you do better. And that's why it's important for us to seek knowledge. Seek. You're not just going to find it's not just going to happen. If you just stay in your own little bubble, you're only going to be surrounded by the things and people and places that think like that and that move like that. If you want to grow, you have to expand. You have to expand your thinking. You have to expand your surroundings. You got to get in the places where you're not the fastest one in the group. Go be with the people who inspire you to catch up. I've had to learn this because oftentimes I'm the one that's leading the pack and I'm the one that's the fastest in the group and be like, come on, y'all, you can do it. Let me just open the door and tell you if you just take this step and this step and this step. And then I wonder why people are leaning on me because I've set that precedence. I've set that for them to depend on me as their crutch. Now I realize I'm like, hey, I can't do it for you. And I can't want it for you more than you want it for yourself. I can be a loving presence. I can be a gentle guide, a graceful guide, but baby, I cannot and will not do it for you. I can't help you more than you're willing to. I will not help you more than you're willing to help yourself. That's my vibration. You have to get so strong in your boundaries, so intentional in your self-awareness that nothing outside of you is going to bring you less than what you offer yourself. Someone, if you only love yourself at 20% and somebody comes and they love you at 40%, you're going to love them. You're going to worship them. You're going to be like, oh my God, I love you so much. This is great. This is wonderful. Even though 40% is less than half of the capacity. You know what I mean? But when you love yourself to the fullest, baby, I love myself. I love myself. It's taken time to get here and to grow here. Now that I'm here, I love myself because I know who I am. I've seen myself go through and grow through things that could have broken me. And I've chosen to still keep my head up and keep my heart open. I've chosen not to become like those people who have hurt me and betrayed me. First of all, hurt people hurt people. Hurt people hurt people. You can't squeeze an orange and get grape juice. People cannot give you what they do not have. Whatever's on the inside is bound to come out. Stop taking it so personally. One book that helped liberate me, y'all, is called The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. It's a small book. It's like 100 something pages. 4 agreements that you need to make with yourself to transcend your life in towards a personal heaven. The first one is be impeccable with your word. Be impeccable with your word. That means only saying what you mean and meaning what you say. Not adding anything onto it and not keeping nothing off of it. And if you know me, you know that's how I'm going to communicate with you because I love you. Love is truth. Truth is love. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, but I'm also not going to put fire. I'm not going to hurt you because truth hurts. All right. Be impeccable with your word. Number 2, it's either, I might get them out of order. Don't be impeccable with your word. Don't make assumptions. How many times are you assuming things about other people? Well, they should know better. Or why wouldn't they do that? Didn't they know? What makes you think they should know better? Because you know better? Are you expecting them to have your lens of life and move through it rather than realizing they've been through their own set of experiences? Don't make assumptions. My granddad used to say, when you assume, if you break the word down, you make a out of you and me. I was a little girl. I remember he said that. And I was like, but it makes sense. Number 3. So be impeccable with your word. Don't make assumptions. Don't take things personally. Don't take things personally, y'all. Nothing is personal. People don't think about you as much as you think about you. I promise. Why would they cut me off like that? Why would they treat me like that? It has nothing to do with you. They are revealing to you where they are on their journey. They are revealing to you their own relationship with self. The best thing you can do is be an observer and not an absorber. Be an observer and not an absorber. How can I observe what's happening without absorbing it? And that takes practice, especially when you're empathetic and you have a big heart and you're a people pleaser. Practice. All right. Be impeccable with your word. Don't make assumptions. Don't take things personally. And then lastly, always do your best. Always, not sometimes. Not when you feel like it, not if people treat you. Always do your best. That's the standard that you hold for yourself. If you decide to hold those 4 standards for yourself, I promise your life is going to change. When I decided to start holding those standards for my life changed, y'all. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna do one each week. When you got to be impeccable with your word, you're gonna become a lot more quiet. You're gonna start listening a lot more, and you're gonna realize how many people say things that they don't mean, or fill in what they're saying with filler words like well, kind of, sort of. Say what you mean and mean what you say. Don't make assumptions. Don't take things personally. Stop trying to fill in the gaps of other people's lives through your own perspective and based on what you're feeling and what you think. Release them and release yourself. Free them and free yourself. I don't know why they did what they did. And if I don't have the courage enough to ask them and to listen, then maybe I should just lay it down, let it be. And draw my energy back to me, something that I can control. Why am I so affected and impacted by what they do or don't do? Why have I put so much power, energy, and focus over there? Can I call that back? And then always do your best. At the end of the day, no matter what happened, did I do my best? And if I'm completely honest with myself, I'll be able to recognize I gave my power away there. I snapped off there. I could have been more honest there. Maybe I didn't. Could have been more compassionate, loving, etc. And then you start to hold a standard for yourself. And that vibration, when you start to energetically change and shift your vibration, the people that you are attracted to, not just that you attract, the places and things, the circumstances, the food, all of that, when you change your mind, you change your life. If you want to transform your life, transform your thinking and transform your relationship with your thoughts. Not every thought is worthy of being chosen, and not everything that comes to your head should come out your mouth. Write it down. Start writing. Journaling is such a reflective practice, whether you realize it or not, because when you talk, it's easy for your mouth to move as fast as your mind sometimes. And that's not always a good thing. We need to slow it down. And when you journal, you can't write as fast as you think. So you have to slow the process down. And then you're bringing it from here through here to here. And you're bringing it to life in a different way. And then you can go ahead and watch what you're thinking. By writing it down, you get to see what's going on in your headspace, what's going on in your heart space, because maybe you don't know. Maybe you're only focused on the thing that's at the forefront of your mind, but what about those things that are back or buried deeper? What does your heart have to say? Why are you constantly leading with your head all the time? The mind is a battlefield. The Bible tells us that. The mind is a battlefield. The mind is of this world. Just like your body is of this world. The only thing that's not of this world is your spirit. We have to get more in tune with our spirit, y'all. So again, your vibe attracts your tribe. Your spirit is what attracts your tribe, your people, those people that see you for who you truly are, not for who you portray yourself to be, not for who they think you are or think you should be, not for what you do for them, for who God has created you to be. Your tribe will see you for who you are, but you have to operate in that. You have to have the courage and the integrity to be who God has called you to be. And when you do that, oh my God, y'all, me just being here at Graceful Studio, my yoga and wellness space. This is just the beginning, by the way. I've been open since December, and this is my second studio. I remember when I closed my first studio, how I felt pretty down about it, but I realized everything happened. I was 21 when I opened my first studio. I didn't know anything about owning my own business. I did that for 2.5 years, and I commend myself. I was a baby. I had some living to do, some growing to do, and I went to Florida for 5 years, and I did that. I went for love of somebody else. I went to Florida for the love of somebody else, but the love of myself is what kept me there, and that's what I found. I had to grow through some heartbreak and some betrayal, but I also had to learn who I am when I wasn't around my hometown and my family and the people that I grew up with and what was familiar. I had to spread my wings and fly. And then once I did that, God was like, all right, I need you to come back over here and bring everything that you've learned right here. And so I'm obedient, and I'm here for this season. And I know that this is just the beginning. I'm getting back in church and in the word and delving closer into my relationship with God. And I'm just so grateful. So grateful. The people that I'm meeting through church and through sisterhood and unity, the prayer line that I'm a part of in Bible study group, I'm just grateful. The people who come in the studio, I pray for everyone that comes to the studio. Before they even show up, I thank God for the people that he's aligning me to connect with through what he's given me. And I'm praying that God makes me a good steward of what he's given me, because that's the best thing that we can do is manage. Nothing is ours. We don't own anything. We don't own anything. We just are put in a position of management. How are you managing the time that God has given you? How are you managing the resources, your gifts? How are you managing the relationships to other people? Are you moving according to who God has called you to be? Are you moving on your own accord? Are you moving off of your reactions? Are you moving off of your hurt, your trauma? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Don't shoot the messenger. All right, but my people are showing up for yoga. I got a class at 6. It's 5:51. I see them pulling up and parking. So I love y'all. Thank you for sharing this time and space with me. I'm so grateful I was able to share this message. I want to be obedient to come on every time that God tells me to come on. Your vibe attracts your tribe. If what you're seeing out there doesn't reflect what you desire, I encourage you to go in and readjust as many times as you need to. If there is a change that you wish to see, then that is the change that you, my friend, must be. Okay? I love you so much, but God loves you best. Peace. Later.